All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back. Good to see you on day two here as we get ready to rock and roll. And good to see you all coming back. Let me see who's on my home screen. I got Joe. What's up, Joe? Looks like you're really in the weeds. Uh, and let me see here. Let me go back to my gallery view. So Joe, I got Mitch. What's up, Courtney? What's up, Frank? Ty? What's going on? Gary? All locked in. Got the headset ready to roll. What's up, Kathy? We got Celia, we got Michelle, Kimberly, DRBRA, Dr. Bra, maybe? I don't know. Christian, Karen, what's up? Katora, we got Luis. Luis, what's going on? Chubby, what's up, Chubby? We got Neil and Sandy and DW Jones, Satya, Satya, maybe. I don't know. That's yeah, I don't know. I know. My last name, look, I get it. What were our parents thinking? No, I'm just kidding. No. Is it Satya? Satya. All right, we'll figure it out later. But anyways, welcome. We got you. All right, welcome everyone. Good to see you back today for day two. We're going to get rocking and rolling. We got a lot to cover today, as always. So we're just going to jump right into it. Let me get everything set up here and rocking and rolling and get you guys pulled off to the side. If I look like I'm in a different area, I am. I'm at my home office today. Yesterday I was at the real estate office, but today I'm at the home office. Just in case. Let me see. And let me pull up that chat. Looks like that chat's already rocking and rolling. We got some 100Ks coming in. Hope everybody worked on their homework last night. And yes, yesterday's session was recorded, and I'll jump right into that. So today we're going to be going into channel build out, custom settings, and some content creation. That's what we're going to be covering today. And then, of course, everyone's muted. We'll see if we have a little time for Q&A today. So we'll see if we can get through everything. We got some equipment giveaway. First day of the equipment giveaway. We'll be doing that over the next few days as well. So make sure you got your cameras on. You got your Zoom backgrounds. You can find that in the community. And again, just stay positive. I think everybody was positive yesterday. I didn't hear of any incidents, so we appreciate that. We love the positivity, and we want to work and help people that are ready to make a change. Here's your daily equipment giveaway today. A couple of you will receive a microphone set and a tripod / selfie stick. I'll show you how I use these tomorrow when we get into how to make videos. But that'll be given away at the end of today. And then again, we have our VIP member giveaway on Friday. So that's coming up. Again, just keep in mind when you reach an aha moment, moment of clarity, something that kind of just makes you go, things that make you go, And just type 100K in the chat. You can do that anytime, but I'll also ask for some 100Ks sometimes for the feedback. And looks like we're already starting off with some 100Ks already. So I appreciate that. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. And we'll get going here. Again, this challenge will be recorded for the VIP members. So all you have to do is go into the community, go to resources, and then go to VIP experience, and you can get the recordings. It's a great way to go back and review. And after you see today, we got a lot to cover. Something I wanted to cover real quick, though, is before we move into everything else, just to kind of shift your mindset here a little bit on marketing. And I think this is really important because this is a different form of marketing. And in my opinion, the absolute best form of marketing you could ever do. And that is intention-based marketing versus interruption marketing. Now, here's the deal. You and I have been exposed to interruption marketing our entire lives. And it's probably how you conduct your business right now. And what is interruption marketing? Well, it's TV commercials, it's billboards, it's magazine ads, it's postcards, it's cold calling, door knocking, even meeting somebody in Starbucks. You know, we are interrupting people throughout their day. And the problem with that is that you have no idea when or if anybody's ever going to be in the market. So it becomes a volume game. It's like, how many phone calls can I make? How many door knocks can I do? You know, you've heard the old sales saying, right? How many no's do I need to get to a yes? Well, that is interruption marketing because we are interrupting people throughout their day trying to figure out maybe if they're in the market to buy or sell a home, and we don't know. You know, if you think about this, I don't watch a lot of TV. Actually, I don't watch any TV on regular TV except for the Cowboys games. So during football season, I watch the Cowboys games. I don't know if anybody else watches football or your spouse watches football, maybe, but I see about 10 State Farm commercials every single football game, you know? Are we in agreement there? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And why is that? Well, it's because they're interrupting the game. First of all, I mean, I want to watch the Cowboys game. I'm not there to watch the TV commercials. Used to be like in the 80s and 90s, the big deal during the Super Bowl was to watch the commercials. I don't even know anybody that really watches the commercials anymore, even on Super Bowl. So the thing is like I see 10 State Farm commercials like every commercial break. And what are they doing? Like State Farm has no idea if I will ever be in the market or when I'm going to be in the market for home or auto insurance. But what are they doing? They're beating me over the head, you know, with the same message over and over and over again, hoping that one day when I am in the market for home or auto insurance, I will sing that little jingle in my head and go, like a good neighbor, and everybody on here could probably finish that sentence, right? It's been embedded in you for the last 30 years. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And you know what? I've never, ever had State Farm insurance. And guess what? They've got $1 billion budget. Geico has $1 billion budget. Why do they make a cute little gecko? Because they want to make you laugh. And they have the little saying 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. That's what interruption marketing is. It's just like beat you over the head over and over again, hoping one day you'll be in the market. But then we turn around and we do that as real estate agents. We make 100 cold calls to hopefully get 10 people on the phone and hopefully have a real conversation with two of those people. And maybe one out of two of those people might be in the market in the next 6 to 12 months. We just don't know. But do you believe people become intentional about buying things? Like, I mean, right? So you could see a dog food commercial 10 times a day. It doesn't mean you're going to run out and buy dog food. But here's the deal. Uh, if you run out of dog food, nobody wants Fluffy to die, right? And so you become intentional about buying dog food. You do not need any marketing or advertising to convince you you need dog food. You just know you need it. And so think about this in the terms of real estate. Do you believe there's a point in somebody's life that they become intentional to buy or sell their home, their next home, right? I mean, we all have heard the 5 Ds of real estate, and that's the reason. Like there, at some point, somebody says, "Hey, honey, it's time to sell the house," or "Hey, honey, it's time to buy a house," or "Hey, honey, it's time to move." At that moment, they become intentional. So that's what we're doing on YouTube. We are just getting in front of the intentional people instead of chasing everybody else around town all the time, putting them in our database, following up with them for 12, 18, 24 months. And then they turn around and buy a home with Uncle Bob because he just got licensed and he happened to be at their home on Sunday drinking a beer, and they're like, "Hey, thank you, Levi, for building a relationship with me for 2 years. But, Uncle Bob just got his license and I have to buy through Uncle Bob." And you're like, "Oh my God," so that's the thing is like, why don't we just get in front of the intentional people who are looking to buy or sell real estate? And that's the interesting part about YouTube. Where'd my slides go? Here they are. All right. Let me comment slides. I want to make sure you can see my slides. So just a couple of you comment slides real quick. Okay, good. All right. So look at this and look at these numbers on here. So this tells us that we are getting in front of intentional people. Now look at this. 40% of our traffic is coming from TV alone. Think about that. That means people are sitting on their couch or laying in bed watching our videos. What other powerful form of marketing could you ask for in your business than to be on somebody's TV and they're sitting on their couch or laying in bed watching our videos? Now, on top of that, look at this, 17% from computer, 4% from tablet. So when you look at that, that is, what is that? 63% of our traffic is coming from what I call research devices, right? So if somebody's sitting on their couch or laying in bed, they're getting ready to watch their long form content. They're getting comfortable. Have you ever tried to research something on your phone and you're like, "Oh my God, let me just go sit at my computer and get on a bigger screen and try to research this"? Or you try to buy something on your phone and then you switch to a computer. Same thing with the tablet. When we get on these bigger screens, we get comfortable, we get ready to research, we become intentional. And the funny thing is they say, attention spans are dead these days, right? That's why you're supposed to be this dancing real estate agent on TikTok, if you want to win in social media. But look at this average view duration on TV over 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Think about that. The first time somebody sits down and watches one of our videos, they're watching over 7 minutes and 45 seconds. And they say it takes about 7 minutes of consumption really for somebody to really start to get to know you. But look at this, computer 456, tablet 609. Where is it the least amount? It's on mobile. So we know when people are on mobile phones, their attention spans are shorter, and usually that's where interruption happens, right? Think about ads on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. You're sitting there scrolling, and what happens? You get interrupted. Now, are you in the market for that? Well, I don't know. I mean, AI targeting is getting pretty good that it seems to know what we want these days. But other than that, look at what's even more interesting is when YouTube suggests our videos, the average view duration is over 11 minutes and 24 seconds. And YouTube is only going to suggest our videos to people that they believe will actually watch those videos. YouTube's whole goal is time on platform. They want people to spend as much time on the platform as possible. And if you think about that, I mean, for YouTube to recommend a Dallas, Texas real estate video to someone, I mean, they are very, very dialed in to believe that person's going to watch that. And that person is likely going to watch it because whatever they've done has indicated to YouTube that they're interested in that. And that's how the algorithm works these days. It's not by subscriptions. It's not by that 5-6 years ago. Your YouTube feed used to be the channels you subscribe to. That used to be what showed up on your home screen. Now, you got to be very careful about what you watch because that'll be in your recommendations for the next couple of weeks. And you know this true because have you ever watched one cat video by accident and then you're full of cat videos in your feed for the next couple of weeks? Well, same thing. They watch one real estate video, they're going to feed them more. And if they watch one of your entire real estate videos, guess what? YouTube's going to feed them more of your content. So every time they log in, YouTube's going to place your content on their screen. And that's what's extremely powerful. This is a prime example. One of our partners in another state, in Washington, actually, like their client sent them this picture, and Sterling's their little kid. And look at this. Sterling is learning about Kent, Washington. And look where they're at. They're laying in their bed watching on the big screen. I mean, nothing more powerful than that to really capture people's attention, but to also be in their living room or their bedroom. That's the opportunity here. And remember, TV surpassed mobile and is now the primary device of YouTube viewing when it comes to watch time. So the longer people are watching, they're doing it on these other devices like TVs and computers and tablets when they're researching. And look at 2025. Actually, 63% of our watch time came from TV. Think about that. Almost 2/3 of our viewership came from TV alone. And then computer and tablet, only 19% came from mobile phones. So even though mobile definitely dominates almost every category all the time, when it comes down to researching, when people are intentional, they're looking to make their move, they're sitting down, they're getting comfortable, they're ready to consume long form content, and you will build a relationship with them 1,000 times faster than you will through short form content. But even look at this. Just in the first 5 years of our channel, YouTube's given us 82.5 million impressions. Think about that. Now, what is an impression? An impression, YouTube counts that as whenever your thumbnail sits on somebody's screen longer than 1 second. So think about that. YouTube has put us in front of 82.5 million eyeballs for free. I mean, how much would that cost you in postcards? How many phone calls would you have to make to get 82.5 million in front of 82.5 million people? But 82.5 million people have seen our thumbnails on their screen. And YouTube's given us that for free. So if you've ever paid for online marketing, you usually pay per impression. If you do any Meta ads or Facebook ads or anything like that, you typically pay per impression. So that would have cost you at least over $820,000 if you paid 1 penny per impression. So I don't know about you. I don't know a lot of agents with the $820,000 marketing budget though. But that's how powerful YouTube is it's put us in front of that many people at no cost for free. And that's a big opportunity. Now, the thing is I shared a couple of success stories with you, and Andy's another one here. He was getting ready to quit real estate. He was tired of it because guess what he was doing? He was chasing people for 10 years in the business. He was buying leads, trying to work his sphere and everything else, but he just felt like he was chasing people nonstop. And he just said, man, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to go back to the car business. He liked the car business because People would walk into the dealership and he would typically get them to sign a contract and walk out with keys, the same day. He just liked that transactional process. But he was like, man, I chase people down for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and then they buy with somebody else or don't do anything at all. Or, and so he just got frustrated. But then he saw what we were doing and he thought, you know what, I'm going to give this one last chance. I'm going to make some videos and see if I can actually attract business versus chase it down. And sure enough, within the first year, he did multiple transactions. Now this is his primary business is YouTube, just like everybody else that we show. YouTube has the opportunity to not only become the primary lead generation in your business, but the best lead generation you'll ever experience. I will tell you that working with these clients is amazing because they all want to work with us. They love us. They come to us with the relationship already established. It's called a parasocial relationship. It's why so many people feel like they know celebrities. If they watch Friends every single week for 9 seasons, the people develop a relationship. Even though they've never met somebody, they feel like they know Rachel or Ross or Joey. They feel like they know them. And a lot of people relate to them. And that's what happens on YouTube is people watch you and they have a relation to you. They'd say, oh, I like Levi. I like Andy. I like Katora. I like Luis. That's kind of my person right there. They develop that relationship first, then they call you because whenever they call you, they've already made the decision they want to work with you. So it's game over at that point. But one of the most common questions that I always get asked is, well, how much time does this take? I don't know. I don't know if I have time for this. And I'm saying, well, if you don't have time to make videos, that's exactly why you should make videos. Because if you don't have time to make a video once or twice a week, your time is completely unleveraged. I mean, you are not in control of your schedule at all if you can't afford an hour or two per week. But I look at this and I say, this one video took me 2 hours to film. And that's because it was on site and it was a 7,000 square foot house. But this video has been watched 53,400 hours. So when I look at that, 2 hours to film and watched 53,400 hours, to me, that's like making 53,398 hours profit on my investment of my 2 hours of time. That's the way I look at that. What other way could you ever get back that amount of time? All right. Now, what I love even more is that YouTube not only makes you time, it compounds your time. And everybody loves the concept of compounding interest, of course. And when you invest in something, that's what you're looking for, compound interest usually, or compounding your money. Well, if we're going to invest our time, why shouldn't we compound our time? And look at this. In 1 month, this was 1 day, actually. 1 day, our channel has watched 2,786 hours. Now, if you divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to 116 days worth of prospecting. All right. Now, in 1 month, the channel was watched, and this was last year. In 1 month, the channel was watched 34,232 hours. Divide that by 24 hours in a day, that's equivalent to 3.9 years worth of prospecting. But last year, our channel got 197,000 hours of watch time. Think about that. You divide that by 24 hours in a day, that is 22 and a half years of prospecting. But here's the deal. Last time I checked, none of you were prospecting 24 hours a day. Actually, I asked all of you, what you were doing Sunday night at 9 o'clock, and not a single one of you said prospecting, And so if I go back and I look at what was happening last night at 9 o'clock for me, 9 o'clock the night before was 816. 9 o'clock last night, 803 people watching the channel last night. Again, on a Monday night, in a single hour, 803 people watching that channel. But here's the deal. None of you are prospecting 24 hours in a day. And if you were a highly disciplined agent and you prospect 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, it would take you 270 years to equate what my channel was watched last year. That's the power of YouTube. That's the power of having something prospect for you nonstop, not just minute by minute and hour by hour, but in a massive compound effect. Because again, you can't duplicate this. That's equivalent, even at a 24-hour day, equivalent to 22 and a half years worth of prospecting. Okay. So we're turning a day into 3.86 months. We're turning a month into 3.9 years and a year into 2.2 decades worth of prospecting. And the reason this is so important is because remember, I said if you don't have time to make 1 to 2 videos a week, you're completely unleveraged. If you've never heard of the cash flow quadrant, and I know probably about 50% of you have never heard of the cash flow quadrant, the whole point of the cash flow quadrant is to move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. This is the difference between unleveraged and leveraged. This is the difference between having a job and owning a business. This is the difference between making a living and becoming wealthy. And so none of us on this call wanted to be employees, right? We didn't want to do that. We didn't want to work for somebody else. And it makes sense, right? Because you trade time for money and you work for somebody else. But we thought we'd be really smart and get a real estate license, right? But all that did was move you to the S quadrant, self-employed. You still trade time for money. You just do it for yourself instead of somebody else. So if your lead generation, if you're prospecting and everything else is dependent upon you, guess what? You just own your job. That's it. You don't own a business. In order to move to the right side of the quadrant and become a business owner, at least in real estate, you need to have a brokerage, you need to have a team, or you need to have system and processes in place like a YouTube channel, something that is working for you when you're not working. When you can go to the beach or take the weekend off or every evening off and not feel guilty and know that your business is still running and you're not missing business, you're not losing business. And you can go to the beach for 2 weeks if you want, and everything still runs. That's when you know you have a true business. But the ultimate goal in life is to become an investor because your money can make you money. And that's the ultimate leverage, of course. And when you make enough money in your business, then you should be investing it in something else. But again, if I asked you to invest with me on stocks, real estate, or crypto, let's say we were best friends and I said, hey, I've got the latest stock, the latest crypto, the latest real estate deal. You want to invest with me? I bet your number one question would be, well, what's the return of my investment, right? And the thing is, what's the most valuable asset? Most people argue that your most valuable asset is time. So if time is our most valuable asset, why are you not asking, when you invest your time into something, what you will get back? What amount of time will you get back? So if you cold call for 2 hours, will you ever get those 2 hours back? What if you reach nobody at all? Then did you just waste 2 hours? Did it just go out the window? But if I spend an hour making a video and it gets an hour's worth of watch time, at least I broke even on my time spent. Once it gets 2 hours of watch time, I've doubled my production the way I see that as far as time. And I'll tell you why this is so important, because every one of you, I believe, is probably the primary income earner for your family on this call. And why that is so important is because what that really means is you are the insurance policy for your family. And if you're the primary income earner and you are the insurance policy for your family, then what you do matters, and how you work, and if you're able to work. And actually, that's what I typically argue, is that your number one asset is truly your ability to earn income. And if you get taken out of the picture, what happens? What happens to your family? What if you have a stay-at-home spouse? What if you have kids? What if you got things that need to be taken care of and you're removed from the picture? Do you have something that is truly working for you when you can't be there or don't want to be there? It's up to you. But I will tell you why this is so important, because life can throw us curveballs at time to time. And I told you about my story from Iraq yesterday. And whenever I came home from Iraq, I actually came home with a digestive disease. And that digestive disease messed with me for about 8 years until 2013. In 2013, all of a sudden, I lost 50 pounds in a single month. At 33 years old, I became completely bedridden and disabled. And that was something I didn't see coming. I never expected that. I played high school football. I was in the military. I've been in shape my whole life. I've never been out of shape. I've always been in the gym. I've always worked out. And then all of a sudden at 33 years old, I lose 50 pounds in a single month, become completely bedridden and disabled. This nearly killed me. And, for 3 months, this was the worst pain that I'd ever experienced in my life. And I went to 4 different GI doctors. They threw the kitchen sink at me, antibiotics, IV antibiotics, steroids. They were going to put me on low-dose cancer drugs. And then on top of that, they said to cure me, they were going to cut out my colon. And I'm sorry, TMI, but that was my reality. They told me at 33, hey, we can cure you by just cutting out your colon. And that was something that I would never expected to hear ever in my life. And guess what happened at that time? I lost my job because I couldn't work. And after 90 days, they wanted me to come back to work, and I wasn't physically able to do it. My income stopped. Everything stopped. But all I cared about right then was getting my health back in order. Now, it was by God's grace, I found a natural doctor, and the natural doctor was like, hey, let's change your diet and put you on some vitamins. And within 3 weeks of working with a natural doctor, he got my symptoms under control, got me feeling better. I was able to get my appetite back. It took me a full year to recover, but I was able to recover 100% with no medication, no surgery. I still have all of my organs today, thank God. And, like I said, I'm 46 now, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I've never had a single sign or symptom of this chronic disease that doctors told me I would have for the rest of my life. And, I'm cured of that, and now I just focus on diet, exercise, maintaining a very healthy lifestyle, and it's kept me, in tip-top shape. Like I said, actually on Saturday I'll be running another 32-mile race for fun. For some reason, I don't know why, but just for fun, And I feel like I'm way better. I look way better now, or I feel like I'm like Benjamin Button. Maybe I'm aging in reverse now, but I look way better at 46 than I did at 33. But well, let me just really emphasize this. Health is key. Health is priority. If you can't, if you don't have your health, you won't enjoy your wealth. Trust me. So I don't care how much money you have. If you're not healthy, it's not a fun ride. So take care of yourself, but also build a business. So if anything comes your way, any curveballs, you get taken out of the picture, you want to set your family up for success. And that's really what this is about. And those of you saying, yeah, congratulations, praise God, all that. Yeah, thank you. I really see that. But I want you to look at this in a different way. Remember, I talked about those impressions, 82 million impressions. Like we got 3.6 million impressions in 1 month. Well, like I said, an impression is just a thumbnail on the screen. I want you to think of that now as the new billboard. Instead of paying for a billboard on the side of the road, think about it. Every time you drive by a billboard, that's like an impression for that billboard. You see it for a split second, typically, right? Now, if you drive by at the same time every single day on a commute, eventually you'll probably know that message, and then maybe you'll call that injury lawyer one day down the road if you get in a car accident, possibly. But otherwise, every time our thumbnail sits on somebody's screen, that's like a billboard. That's like them driving by a billboard. It's like a postcard in their mailbox. It's an impression. And we got 3.6 million for free in a single month. But then look at this. We had 311,000 views in a single month. To me, that's the conversation, because if you just have a conversation, doesn't mean it's going to lead to anything, but it's the start of a relationship. So if somebody just views a video, that's the start. That's kind of like, hey, getting to know each other, meeting each other. They get to know you a little bit better. That's a conversation. So however could you duplicate 311,000 conversations in a single month? But then look at this. Again, 31,000 watch hours in a single month. That's the new relationship, okay? When people spend that amount of time watching your content, they are developing a relationship with you. So they are coming to us with that relationship already in place. And to me, this is the new relationship in real estate, is content. But then look at this, like we had 2,500 subscribers in a single month on our channel. Well, that's like the new database. Because if you think about this, they're going into our subscriptions as our subscriber. They're going to get notified every time we release a new video. And now, if I meet you at Starbucks and then I called you twice a week, every week for a year, you'd probably stop answering my calls. If I text you twice a week, every week for a year, you'd probably stop replying to my text. If I emailed you twice a week, maybe you read a couple of those emails in the beginning, but you probably stop reading my emails after a week or two, if I emailed you twice a week. But I release 2 YouTube videos a week, and what do you think people are doing? If they're interested and they're intentional and they're researching, they're going to watch those 2 videos every single week. So to me, this is the new database. And then look, we don't monetize. We monetize through real estate commissions, of course, but we make a little extra money, $1,900 a month on average sometimes from the channel. That's great. And guess what? I can pay for an editor easily that way. That way I'm not doing that stuff. Editing takes way too much time. You do not want to edit, trust me. It's just not worth it. It's not worth your time. So you need to figure out some sort of editing budget, and making a little extra money from YouTube ads is an easy way to do that. But again, this is the new branding. Actually, we've got over almost 7 million views on the channel now, and that's just constant branding. But again, remember, most of our viewership is coming from TV. So to me, this is the new reality show. Have you ever seen a real estate show and been like, I can't believe that agent is on TV. I can't believe somebody gave this person a real estate show. Or they embarrass you as an agent sometimes. I mean, some of those shows get a little catty and everything. And you're like, oh my God. Well, guess what? You get on YouTube and you create your own reality show. That's what we're doing here. So again, and this has gotten me more recognition around town in the last 6 months. It's crazy how much I get recognized now. Every single week, somebody's stopping me and asking me about the channel. But again, the new networking. I mean, 22,000 views, in 2 days. I mean, you couldn't talk to that many people at a conference, at an event. I don't care what you're doing. You're just not going to reach that many people. All right, so I wanted to give you that little baseline. Hopefully, you found that a little bit helpful to kind of shift your mindset. And I wanted you to see how powerful YouTube is. So we're going to move into the channel build out now. We're going to work on this channel banner right here. So I want you to go into the community, go into resources and the challenge resources, and you can pull up a template of this banner. Okay, so in the community right here, you should have channel banner template. So if I click on that, open up this Canva link, it should pop this up right away. And then what I can do is I can hit file. I can hit file right here, and I'm going to make a copy. That easy. Boom. All I do is go to file, make a copy. It's going to pop that up. It's going to allow me to edit this whole thing. Okay. So how we do this is we're just going to build this out very simply. And I'll show you kind of like the finished product right here. A couple of key things is this is how it will look. Okay. We do want to isolate text right to the middle. I'll show you why here in just a minute. If you have full body pictures, that's okay. This is exactly the way you want a finished product to look right here. Okay. And then of course, if I showed you my channel, you'll see why we isolate the text. So this looks different. This looks different on different screens. Okay. But we want the full banner. This is what's shown on TV, the whole thing. So again, remember, we're getting a majority of our viewership from TV. This is what they see on TV. This right here in between these two lines is what they see on computers, right? So I'm on my computer and I click over. You see how they can kind of see the whole thing right there. And then if I mark in between these lines, this box, all right, this whole section, basically just our two heads in the text. This is what they see on mobile, just this middle section. So you got mobile in the middle, you got computer for this whole banner, and then you got TV for the entire banner. So that's why we want it to look the way to look. We want to isolate text right in the middle, but we want to have our main call to action right in the middle, because that's what's going to be seen on all devices. All right, so now if we go back and we go back into Canva and we can edit this, this is really simple. Follow along. Again, take really good notes, or you can work through this with me at this time, or you get the recordings and you go back and watch this a couple of times as I work through it. If I click on the whole picture, I'm going to, if I want a background color, this is real easy. And look, I'm no professional designer, all right? And I'm assuming most of you are not professional designers either. So I would recommend also hiring somebody to do this, but you can do this on your own. All right. So if I just click one of these colors, let's say I like a nice fade color, something like that, if it relates to your brand. If you have specific color codes from your brand, you can actually type them in this box and it will pull your very specific color to your brand. But if you don't, you can pick something close to your brand. So whatever that is, fading or solid colors. All right. Whatever you want. I'll just do a quick little fade, I guess, from purple to blue, just to take a quick look. And let's see here. Now, I got a picture, very simple. I can do this. This is my old 90s picture right here. Hold on a second. Let me why does it do that? Oops. Let me just go back here real quick. I want to make, I have two Canva accounts. I don't know why. All right, I want to log in with that one. It's just got all my other stuff saved into it. All right, so again, file, make a copy. Boom. I select that. I'm going to pick a color. All right, now if I go to uploads, this is where you can upload pictures and everything else like that. Okay, so if I want a nice picture of myself, I can upload it. Make sure you have the background removed. But again, I want to position this right where the person, this little person logo is. Now, the thing is, I can click on that person logo. I can hit the little trash can and delete, and I can move myself in place. Remember, if it's full body like this, that's okay. But I mainly want my head. I want my head to be, within these lines right here because, that's what I want seen. All right. So I can just position myself just kind of like that. And then, of course, you can adjust your lettering right here. So you can put your city and state. And I can say, Dallas, Texas. Now, the thing is I don't need this to be black. It can be black if you want. But let's say I want to do, I want to highlight the subscribe button. I want to make that, I don't know, yellow. All right. Just to make it pop a little bit. If I want to do a different font, I can pick a different font here. Let's see here. More sugar. That looks interesting. I probably wouldn't do more sugar, but just to give you an idea how you can change up the font just a little bit. And now you can see how this looks. I call this flat. Okay. I like a little depth behind my lettering, a little substance to it, you could say. So if I click on it again and I go to effects, I can go to glow, hit glow, and right here I can adjust that glow. I can change the, let's see what I can do here. Boom. You see how if I add that glow, it just adds a little effect behind it. And I can pick the color. If I want black, whoop, no, I want the lettering to be black. I want the effect to be a glow. There you go. I can change that intensity and you see how it just adds a little substance behind it. Adds a little bit of shadow on there and I can do that. Maybe I want the Dallas, Texas to be yellow too and I need some substance behind that. Again, effect. I will do drop. Actually, let's use drop. I like drop because then you can add the black behind it, transparency, boom. Now you'll see how that intensifies just a little bit. Blur, boom. I can do that. See, just make a few adjustments. It just adds a little bit behind it, just like that. Just adds a little bit more depth to make it pop. Now, I'm not going to do everything, but you can see how you can kind of adjust everything on there. Let me go back to effects and go to the drop. Make sure it's black on the background. Add that, boom. See how that just added a little substance on there? It just added that nice little black background just to give it a little bit more depth and make it look a little bit better. So that's how you can adjust your lettering if you want to do that. All right. Now, icon, logo, whatever you have here, if this is something like you have a team logo or something you want to put here, you have branding somewhere around there. I can just place that there, make that adjustment. And again, I want this, now it has these little lines, right? So I can line this up and it can be even with my face. Now that tells me it's that little line, if you can see it, tells me it's even on my face. So I should be good to go there. If I want some sort of logo and then QR codes. Well, here's where I already have QR codes in here, but I'll show you where to get QR codes is in, go back to agent advisory. I love this. All right. Got a QR code generator right here. Pretty simple. So all I have to do is put a link. So if I have a link to book a call or to my Calendly or something like that, which I've got right here, all I've got to do is paste my URL in there. And that's what we do. So if you see on our channel, we have a link right here that goes to a quick little survey. Boom, I hit that. And what happens is this is how people direct directly book on our calendars with Zoom calls. And it pops up this little survey. They can hit buying or selling, their timeline. Are they pre-approved? What's their budget? So we get all this information. This is the really cool thing. What areas are you looking in? And then what happens is they submit their name and phone number, and then it pops up our calendar for them to book a call. So that's what we like to do right there. And so if you're in Advisory Studio and you've got a Calendly link or someone to book directly with you, this is a great way. This is our highest converting form of leads right here, by the way. We do get text, we do get phone calls, we do get emails, but the people that book Zoom calls directly on our calendar, they convert the highest, and they're also the most fun to work with because they really want to meet you on Zoom, and it's always the best conversations. And all I have to do is hit generate. If I hit generate, it's going to generate this QR code right there, just like it did. Boom. Generates that QR code, and then I can download that QR code, right? And I go back into Canva, and boop, I got a QR code. I can resize it to where it fits perfectly right there. Oh, let me get rid of that one. Boom. I get rid of that little behind the scenes. Oh, let me get rid of that one too. Boom. And I can just put that QR code right there. And then I can do this little duplicate button. Duplicate. It's now the same size. And it actually can even just cover up that text if you want it to, but otherwise, boom. And so now I have this the way I want it, right? So if they're watching on TV, they're going to see this big QR code. If they're just on a computer, they'll see the QR code over here. Now, why do we do this? Well, there's a reason for this. If they're on mobile, right? Remember, if they're on mobile, actually, if they're on mobile, they're only going to see what's right here in the middle, okay? Which is basically us. So we want our main call to action to subscribe to learn about living in Dallas, Texas. We want that to be our first call to action to subscribe on mobile. Now, that's the thing. Now, if they're on a desktop like I'm on right now on a computer, guess what they can see over here? All we did here is we created a visual. This is just like, instead of putting our logo, which really doesn't mean much to anybody, nobody cares about a logo anyways, we put something more visually appealing, really just to let people know they're in the right place. Everyone's moving from California, Illinois, and New York, right? That's where we get the most phone calls. So they see this map. It's just kind of like lets them know, okay, yeah, that's us. We do want to move to Dallas, Texas. But here, this QR code is right here because guess what? If they can see this QR code, that means they're watching on a computer. That means they're not watching on a phone. And guess what? If they're watching on computer and they're not watching on their phone is free to hold it up and scan the QR code. If you put a QR code here in the middle, guess what? They're on their mobile phone. They can't scan it because that's all they see. So that's why we have it over here, because then they're not watching on a mobile phone and they can easily scan it. The same reason for a phone number over here. If they can see this phone number, they're not watching on their phone. Therefore, their phone is free and they can dial that phone number. So this really gives us one, subscribe to learn about living in Dallas. Two, scan a QR code to meet us on Zoom. Three, dial this phone number to contact us that way. That's 3 calls to actions we have right there on our banner. All right, so that is visible in those ways. And then right here, I'll show you this in just a little bit. Then we have our fourth call to action, moving to Dallas, Texas. Let's chat. And they can click on the link. This is our number 1 clicked link on the entire channel. This is where a majority of our lead flow comes in. And this is visible on all platforms, so they can click this link on a mobile phone. So that's very important that we have that in there. I'll show you how to set that up. But then we have a video positioned right here. This is what's called a trailer video. So anytime someone new to the channel comes to the channel for the first time, this video plays automatically as a trailer. And guess what? Guess what we have right here? We have positioned our contact information. So now we have another call to action with our phone number, our email, or to book a Zoom call. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 calls to action. Okay. You ever wonder why we generate the amount of leads we generate? Is because when somebody comes to our channel for the first time, they don't even have to scroll to be able to see 5 different ways to get in contact with us. All right. But this video, once it starts playing, this trailer video, in the United States, and we're going to cover the 10 reasons why people are It plays automatically. So if somebody comes here for the first time, look, there's more to Texas than just being the greatest state in the United States. And we're going to cover the 10 reasons why people are making the move here. And I've lived in all right, so boom, right there in the first 5 to 6 seconds, I hit them with a very bold statement. This trailer video is meant to capture their attention. This is not an introduction video, okay? All right, so this is not, this is not, hi, my name is Levi, and my mom took me to my first open house when I was 3 years old, and it was from that moment that I knew I wanted to be a real estate agent. And now I've been in the business for 25 years, and I just love helping families move, and it's just the greatest joy in my life. That's not what people are looking for, okay? They don't care. Remember, they're in research mode. They're not looking for an agent right now necessarily. They're looking to solve their questions and their problems. And their problem is they need to move, they need to pick the right area, they want information. That's what they care about. They will care about your story and you later down the road once they reach out and call you. Whenever they reach out and call you, they've consumed enough content, they've chosen you as their agent, then they'll want to get to know you better. But we do this all the time. As agents, we think we have to sell ourselves. And what we end up doing is just talking about ourselves instead of, providing value to the other person. If you provide enough value to the other person, they will want to do business with you, okay? Regardless of what they know about us, but they will want to get us to know us later down the road, okay? So this is where we're going to have a captivating video that captures their attention, not your life story on real estate, okay? Please. All right, so that's really important. Now, going back into Canva, let me close that one out. Boom. Right there. I mean, my banner is pretty much done. Like I said, I mean, I wouldn't say this is the greatest banner in the world. Clearly, I didn't design my banner. Actually, Chrissy did our banner because she does all kinds of stuff. But anyways, that's what I'm saying. But she's also a professional designer, so she can handle stuff like that. So that looks way better, in my opinion, than my version. But this version will work. It'll work for you right now. So at least piece something together. You can always add to it later on. All right. So this is what you want to do. And then, of course, once you complete this will be part of your homework. And we want to see those banners in the community. We want you to post the banners in the community so we can take a look at them and we'll roast them for you. All right. We'll tell you everything you did wrong on them. Now, I'm sure there will be some good ones. And some of you will build some perfect banners. And some of you will post a banner and you'll be like this, you'll have yourself this big on there and I'll have to tell you, okay, that's not going to work. You're going to be completely cut off. All right. So again, remember, just reposition everything. It's all in alignment where we want it to be for a reason. All right. So again, you're just going to have to do a little bit of repositioning and that's it. And you should be good to go. All right. All you have to do is hit this share button right here and you can download. You download that. And it's also the perfect settings for YouTube, exactly what they want anyways. And we'll test my banner and see how it comes out and how it looks whenever we go into the channel settings. Okay, so that's the banner there. All right, and I want to move into the settings on the channel now. So what you're going to do if you're on YouTube, if you click your little icon up here at the top right, there's actually a link right here that says YouTube Studio. You can go into the YouTube Studio or you can go to youtube.com/studio. And once you do that, you're in, it's going to bring you into this back office right here. And you're going to be good. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm on the wrong channel. All right. All right. So it's going to bring you into the dashboard. Now, the dashboard, whenever I take a look at this, you see I've got little confetti popping off right here. That's pretty cool. Confetti is popping off because it just told me this video we just published, which was actually published yesterday, is number 1 out of 10. So this is really one of the most important metrics that I look at on my YouTube analytics. I'm not going to get too deep in analytics. I know some of you are very analytical. Most of you are not. You don't need to be some analytical genius to figure out YouTube, okay? What this really comes down to is you just need to make good videos, get better at making videos, and then ultimately make really good videos. All right. That's really the winning formula of YouTube. But here, I do like this because our last video that we published got 1 out of 10. So that just means I beat my last 10 videos based on the first 19 hours and 17 minutes. It's got 3,300 views already. All right. And I can compare this and look at what was number two at this exact same moment, 19 hours and 17 minutes. It's more than double. Okay. So my other video in the first 19 hours got 1,600 views. So this one's on a trajectory to blow up. All right. But here's the funny thing is actually the last month, whenever I did this, I think a couple of these videos that I published were 10 out of 10. And that's going to happen. Still, even to me, after all of the videos I made, everything I know about YouTube, I still publish a video sometimes and it gets 10 out of 10. And it's not cool to see. I'm like, oh, okay. But at the same time, I also know that I'm publishing evergreen content. I'm publishing content that will gain traction usually over time. So I'm not too concerned about how it performs in the beginning because I stay pretty consistent with the performance on all my videos. But this one gives me a good indication that it's going to do very well. If I click on the analytics just for this video, clearly I've got a good trajectory right now. I mean, this video could do very, very well over the next week. So I'm really liking that. That's what I want to see. And it took off pretty fast, and then it shows you what it's doing above. This gray line down here is what my average videos are doing. So it's well above my average videos. It's taking off. It did a little bit of a plateau in the night, which is understandable. You can see it right here. So still at 2 in the morning, it was getting 31 views. 3 in the morning, it was getting 34 views. So that's all right. But now that we're back in normal business hours, it's already picking back up again. So I'm seeing that start to take off again, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens on this one. But anyways, going back to the dashboard, all right, I always love to see the confetti. You get that every time you publish, you get a 1 out of 10. I got an 8% click-through rate. That's very, very important. Click-through rate, you really want to shoot for 5% or above, okay? If you get below 5%, you got a thumbnail problem, okay? The thumbnail, it could possibly be the title, but it's most likely the thumbnail. That's a direct correlation to thumbnails. So what a click-through rate means that when you publish a video, YouTube sends it out to usually 100 people immediately. They're going to push it to 100 people that they think will actually watch this video. So this is telling me that 8 out of 10, that's all I need. 8 out of 10 people to actually click on the video and watch it. That's a click-through rate. So if I get 5% or above, if I just get 5 people to click on that video, that signals to YouTube that that's enough interest in that video for them to promote it to the next 100 or 200 or 300 or 400, okay? So that's a real strong indication right there. Now, my view duration is down. Okay, so compared to typically I'm at 6 minutes, this is only almost 4 minutes. So that tells me that is a content issue. For whatever reason, they're losing a little bit of interest in the content. But at the same time, it's funny how YouTube's still pushing it out. So for right now, we're okay. But also that can happen when you get higher impressions. If I go back and look at this, it's already got 21,000 impressions. And so that could always push click-through rate or view duration down, but that's okay. All right, so here, this is what I like to see on the dashboard. I just pretty much kind of look at this and then I move on to, I move on to analytics, but I'll cover content real quick. Content just correlates all your content in order of publication. I mean, you can sort it by views if you want. If I sort by views, you can see I've got a couple of videos with over 500,000 views, 167, 124, 127, 114, and list goes on. So that's some of the most popular videos. You can just kind of take a look and review sometimes. Okay, what was happening there? If I look at what I've published recently, a little bit more steady, averaging 3,000 to 5,000 views, except for February I had this video did 11,000. A video right before that in February did 62,000. So that's usually what you'll see. You'll see kind of like steady Eddie videos, and then you'll have, one or two that could pop off each month. This one did 127. That was just in January, 127,000 views. So as long as I'm hitting a really solid video like that once a month, I'm typically pretty happy. But I know that my videos are probably going to fall between 5 to 10,000 views on average. But that's okay. As long as the phone keeps ringing, that's all I'm concerned about. So that's on the content. Analytics. This is my other favorite tab inside of YouTube. This is where I always come in and kind of take a look, and I can just see, what's happening over the last 28 days. So it always defaults to 28 days. You can go back and sort by 90 days. And I want you to know that just like in real estate or business, even on YouTube, typically things happen in a 90-day cycle. You know how if you try to start prospecting, I mean, most likelihood you're not going to see like real true results or consistency from that until after about 90 days. Same thing with YouTube videos. When you start publishing videos, when you start out, it's going to take like 90 days to get momentum. If you change content, it's probably going to take about 90 days for that to shift. So if I go back and I look at the last 90 days, I have green arrows up. So I'm pretty much on an upward trajectory for the last 90 days, but I can see over the last 28 days, I'm pretty much the same on views. I'm a little bit down on watch time, a little bit down on subscribers. Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, all that means is, again, I had a video last month that did 62,000, and I had a video in January did 127,000. So I'm kind of coming off of those two big videos. So I'll need another big video if I want to kind of average this out. So I take this with a grain of salt. It's like, yeah, is the world ending? No, not exactly. Am I down a little bit? Is my YouTube channel done with? No, I know what happened the last 2 months. I had a couple of big videos, so I'm kind of coming off of that wave, and that's okay. As long as I stay, you can see here, I got pretty good consistency. So even after those big videos, you can see pretty good consistency, averaging 5,000, 6,000 views a day still. So that's okay. I'm good with that. I like consistency, but I'll just show you the lifetime of this channel. Look at the lifetime of this channel. When I just started December, let me see if I can hit the 5th. Okay. I can't hit the 5th, but I'll show you December 6th. Like 5 views, guys. When I started this channel, I got 5 whole views. All right. So again, I started at the same place that everybody else starts. 0 views, 0 subscribers. And whenever I launched that first video, I went mega viral. Yeah, I won. I got 5 views that day, and that's where it started. Look how small that, it doesn't even register, but look at this growth over time. Again, steady Eddie, boom, a little spike. Steady Eddie, boom, a spike. Steady Eddie, boom, a spike. More spikes, more spikes, but still pretty steady Eddie. A little bit of a drawdown before the biggest spike ever. And then, what I want you to notice though, is with each little spike, guess what? I've gained views, I've gained subscribers, and it's just that's on a good growth trend right there. You can see how it's just growing more and more over time. So that's what you want. Even if you hit a video, you get a big spike, anything like that, you want to just keep maintaining through there. So you can kind of see over. And look at this, 6.8 million views on the channel. I mean, it's made me $51,000 on the side. All right, just for publishing videos. That's what YouTube's paid me. I mean, how much has Instagram ever paid you? How much has TikTok ever paid you? How much has Facebook ever paid you for publishing videos? YouTube's the most creator-friendly platform out there. They share revenue with you. It's crazy. So yeah, I've made an extra $50,000 on the side just from that. That's nice. Let me see. And if you want to really kind of like dig in here, you can go into content. Running a little slow since I'm on Zoom. You can see impressions. It's only calculating 72 million right here for some reason. Sometimes it does this. It doesn't calculate data for certain periods sometimes. But it shows you 72 million impressions. I know we're more than that. Shows you my average click-through rate is 4.8% over all the years for the channel. Like I said, I want to be 5% or above, so that's right there. Average view duration. And again, so you can dig in through a lot of this stuff, but otherwise, I won't get into too much of this. But otherwise you can go through a lot of stuff. If you click on advanced mode for you data aficionados, the people that you just love analytics, you click on advanced mode. Guess what? I can go in here. I can go into content. I can break down traffic source, geography, content type, playlists, podcast posts, cities, viewer age, viewer gender, new and returning viewers. I mean, you can dig into all types of data in here. I mean, it's all there. Metrics. I can look at metrics, engage views, average view duration, average percentage viewed, boom, boom, boom. I mean, I can go through all of this stuff if you really, really want to dig in on the analytical side. But like I said, I'll just tell you, I used to do it all the time, and I just realized it doesn't really matter much. So just make better videos, get better at making videos, and then make really good videos. That's the true formula for success right there on YouTube. Everything else will fall into place. But really, most importantly, is all these metrics don't really matter. You just want the phone to ring. That's the most important metrics. How many phone calls are you getting? That's what we want to determine. Community, this just curates comments. So I can see who's commenting on what video. It kind of puts them all in one place. When you start your channel, I want you to stay on top of this every single day. All right. I get way too many comments now. I can't do it, but I still go through here and I'll peruse and I'll see if there's any buying or selling questions. So a lot of this stuff is like this. What about water usage? Okay, well, I could answer that, but it's not really my concern. New here, considering Dallas, Texas area. Okay, all right. So that's kind of like a buying question, right? New here, considering Dallas, Texas area. So what I'll do is I'll reply to this one and say, great. We would love to help you out. Let us know when you're ready. All right. And then what I can do is I can put in my phone number like that. Now, that's one way to do it, but what I really like to do is acknowledge and ask a question first. That creates dialogue. That's what I want you to really focus on in the beginning. I don't really need to do that now. I can go straight for the kill right now, which is acknowledge and call to action. But what I want you to do is acknowledge and ask a question. That'll create dialogue. That'll create additional comments on your videos. That'll create additional engagement. And so if I acknowledge and ask a question, I would say, great. Like, where do you live now? That would be very common for me to ask because I'm concerned. I'm trying to figure out, like, where do they live? Where are they considering moving from? Because they're considering Dallas, Texas. So, but here I can go acknowledge, call to action. Great. We would love to help you out. Let us know when you're ready. And I put my phone number in the chat or in the comment. And why do I do that? Because what this does is, I don't know if you've ever had anybody reply to you on a YouTube comment. If you've left a YouTube comment and then you got a reply, number one, you'll get a notification on your phone. Number two, you'll get an email from YouTube. So I'll see a notification that will pop up and it would say, great. The notification would say, love to help you out. Here's my phone number. They don't have to go search for my phone number. Okay. I'm not going to send them on a wild goose chase to go find my phone number or how to contact me. I put it in the comment. And if they get the email reply, which I get, hey, living in Dallas, Texas, replied to your comment, and then it'll list what I said. Well, if they see an email, then my phone number will be right there. Guess what? They don't have to chase me down. They don't have to go searching for my phone number. I give them the path of least resistance. And so they're more likely to see my comment in their email or a notification on their phone than they are to go back to YouTube, go back to the video. I mean, you see what I mean? So again, I'm giving people the path of least resistance here, and I'm putting it in the comment. But what I want you to do is I want you to acknowledge and ask a question. Okay, this is the simple formula right here. Acknowledge, ask a question, acknowledge, and call to action, because you want to create more dialogue on your initial videos. And I'll show you perfect examples of this. Love both houses, but the first one has everything I'm looking for in my next home. Glad you liked it. That's acknowledge. Where do you live now? That's the question. Frisco. All right, so it's a local person. They live locally. Frisco, and I need to move further north. It's really oversaturated now. Okay, I hear you. Acknowledge. Give us a call and we'd be happy to chat about it. And I put the phone number in the chat. Or, this one's, again, I could go straight to call to action. This is already outdated. Best Places says Forney is more expensive than the average cost of living. Homes I'm looking at are in the 400Ks. Okay. Well, we know where to find them. Give us a call and we can give you many options. And I put the phone number. Again, I'm not going to say, "Oh, well, here's all the places you can look at $400,000 homes." Nope, I'm going to say, "Hey, I know where to find them. You've got to come to me for the information. Here's my phone number. Give me a call." And guys, I've converted comments. I've turned comments into commissions. All right. So, but then this is a really prime example of why I put my phone number. Hey, just watched your Prosper video. It's somewhere my wife and I are interested in moving. How can we contact you for more information? Even though I have the contact information on the banner, on the side of the banner, below the banner, I showed you all the places and we have it in our description and we have a pinned comment. So my contact info is everywhere, but this person still comments and says, how can we contact you for more information? Hey, happy to help you out. Shoot me a text or call. And I put the phone number in there. That's it. That's simple. Okay. So that's how, that's how, sometimes even the obvious is not obvious to everyone. Okay. So I always want to factor in the lowest common denominator. All right. So I'm always thinking like, hey, people are not always as observant as us or know as much as we do. So we got to help walk them through that process sometimes. Okay, so again, and I can like for me, like I said, I get too many comments now, but I'll go through here and I'll still scroll and just see if there's anything important that I could reply to. And I might reply to a couple just for fun. All right. But when you start your channel, you're going to get next to no comments. All right. So when you do get a comment, acknowledge and ask a question. That creates another comment on that video. And when they reply, that creates another comment. And then whenever you reply to that, that creates another comment. So you're turning one comment into 4 or 5 comments initially. That's going to create engagement on your videos. That's going to help YouTube see that engagement there as well. Languages you don't have to worry about. Content detection you don't have to worry about. Earn you don't have to worry about. Customization. Um, okay. Customization. Now here, this is where we're going to upload our banner. So now that you have your banner built, I'm going to change this out. And it kind of shows you, it's really, really small, but it shows you how it looks on TV, how it looks on a computer, and how it looks on a mobile phone. So you can kind of see all the scenarios. But all I got to do is hit change. And let me see, yeah. I just click on that and boom. All right. And I can see it right there. All right. My chin's a little low. I don't like my chin cut off that way. So whenever I upload this, I can see I got the main thing I want in there, which is my first call to action and my face. That's what I want visible if you're solo. So I would have to go back here and I probably just got to move myself up just a little bit. All right. This is the fun part about making a banner yourself. I'll probably just move myself up just a little bit. All right. That way, I just prefer not to have. I prefer not to have my chin cut off there. Okay, so that kind of stuff matters to me. All right, I want it to look good. This is a form of marketing right here. Now you got to tell me this banner looks good, right? I mean, we're perfectly positioned. Nice colors. You notice we got the outline on our lettering, so it's bold. It stands out. We got good contrast. On Thursday, we're going to get more into branding and colors and things like that. So Chrissy will actually cover that section. So she'll talk about this, how we have contrasting colors, yellow on blue. Those are contrasting colors. But then also we have the outline to really make the yellow pop, the white as well, just to kind of break it up. But otherwise, we're positioned to the top of our head at the top of the banner. My chin's not cut off. Same thing with Travis. Oops. Same thing with Travis on here. And I got a really, a nice profile picture. So, and I pretty much nailed it. Now this logo, you can see the logo right here. If I view on desktop, it shows you what else is visible. My logo is kind of cut off at the bottom there just a little bit. So guess what? I'll have to go back and I'll have to move this logo up a little bit. And that should probably do it right there. All right, everything else is viewable on TV. Of course, the whole thing is viewable on TV. So anyways, that's where you're going to upload your banner. your profile picture, pick a good profile picture, and upload that. Now you'll notice, Travis and I have a business partnership here. He does a lot of work with the clients, so he initially takes the Zoom calls, phone calls, things like that. I don't talk to him in the beginning unless I want to. I jump on Zoom calls from time to time just for fun, but otherwise, when they get scheduled, they all go to Travis. So this is how I can literally make a video and I can go travel for the next month or two if I want. And as long as my videos are publishing, the team, which includes Travis and our assistant and the agents we have, they'll handle absolutely everything from initial consultation all the way through showings, all the way through negotiation, all the way to closing. I'll show up on Zooms if I want for fun, and I show up to closings for fun. All right. And that's what I do. All right. So this has become a real business to where I can make a video from anywhere. Right. So, I mean, I can be in Brazil if I want and make a video and publish it. But what I typically do is I just double up my content before I go on vacation or travel, and it publishes regardless. And that way, when I'm on vacation or at a conference or anything like that, I don't have to worry about making videos. I don't like to do that anyways. I'd rather be enjoying my time on the beach if I want to do that with the family. So, but now the thing is like I make 99%, actually, I make 99.9% of the content. Travis has made a video or two here or there, but that's not really his position. My position is to make the videos. And so I'm the main face of the channel. I'm not going to try to cram myself and Travis in this profile picture. Okay. So if you have a business partnership, choose one of you. If you're a husband and wife and you want to cram both of you in there, I guess you could do that. The reason I didn't want to do it is because I felt like if I stuck me and Travis in the same, profile, we kind of crammed us in there. I feel like we'd probably look like a poster for Step Brothers. So so I didn't want my profile picture looking like that, right? It would just be a little creepy. So anyways, yeah, that was funny. I saw some of you laugh on my cheer squad, so thank you. A couple of you are just way too serious. Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, just one of you is fine. And if you're a husband and wife team and one of you is making the content, go with that. And like I said, people recognize Travis because he's on the banner, and I always mention him in videos. I'll get into more of this tomorrow, like when I get into the introduction and how to make a video. But I always say, my name's Levi, my business partner, Travis, the team. We love helping people like you make a move to Dallas, Texas. So whenever I say my business partner, Travis, the team, I'm positioning people to know that I have a team in place. And the thing is, whenever I started this channel, I took the first 350 calls. I did every Zoom call. I answered every phone call. I answered every text. I answered every email because clearly I wanted to understand what was happening. I wanted to understand the process. I wanted to do that. And so the first 350 Zooms, phone calls, text, emails, I talked to everybody. And what I found out, you know what I found out? I found out that everybody was surprised I was on the Zoom call. Everybody was surprised I answered the phone. Everybody was surprised I was the one returning their text. They were already expecting not to talk to me. So that gave me confidence whenever I finally stepped out of that role that we didn't skip a beat. We didn't lose business. Nobody said, well, I have to talk to Levi or else I'm not going to buy a home from you guys. No, nobody says that. They're just like, man, we love every single call Travis gets on or one of the team members gets on. The first thing they do is they tell them, man, we just love Levi's videos. Is he jumping on? They'll say, nah, he's actually filming content right now, but I'm a big part of the team. I'm going to help you out. And they're always like, okay, cool. They're just happy to be working with the team because of the content delivers so much value. They trust me so much already that if they're working with one of my team members, they believe that team member is going to treat them really well and take care of them. And we do that. So it's very important. And so that's what we do. Now, the thing is like, I may show up on a couple of showings. Sometimes I'll call, if I know the team or Travis, they're out showing, I may say, hey, let me come meet up with y'all. And sometimes I'll stop in and say hello. And we had like two families in town last week on Tuesday. I took them both to dinner, and I was like, hey, we had two agents showing both of them at separate times. I wasn't showing them, two different agents showing them. And then I just said, hey, I text the team and I said, ask them if they want to come to dinner tonight, you know? And that's what I did. I took them to dinner and they, you know what? They were so excited. They were so happy to meet me. And just that little piece, like I was like, I do the fun stuff. You know, I might show up on a Zoom call just to say hi. I might show up at a showing. I might take you to dinner. I'll be there at closing. I went to a closing yesterday and the guy was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to be here. I mean, that's literally what he said. But he was like, he was happy as can be, you know, and he was like, man, this is so cool. You know, man, he goes, your team, man, they took such great care of me. He's like, let me know. Can I leave you a Google review? I mean, this guy was so excited, you know, because I showed up there at closing and that's what I love. I'm like, man, this is amazing because, you know, I built this whole business. Other than the videos, it's not really dependent upon me. So, you know, I don't know. That's the piece I got to figure out is the video piece. But otherwise, you know, it's built up an audience. And that's what, you know, Chrissy was talking about starting a brand channel is because this is a brand account. I could transfer ownership of this channel. Somebody else could come in. The audience is established, the value is established, and this is a sellable asset. So you think about this. I mean, just even this year alone, I showed you, you know, let's say we do 1.2 million in commission, and we've pretty much stayed consistent on that over the last couple of years. Actually, in 2022, we did 2.7 million in commissions from the channel. Of course, I mean, 2022 was just an amazing year for most people, but you know, with the channel, it blew up for us. But still, 2023 we did a million. 2024 we did a million. 2025 we did just shy of a million. This year we're going to do over a million in commissions. So think about that. If I want to sell this, you know, it's at least worth a 4 to 5x multiple. You know, so I could probably sell this channel for $4 or $5 million if I shopped it out on the market. If I wanted to just bounce, if I was like, you know what, let me do a little quick in and out. But that's the opportunity. Name. All right, this is where you're going to put the name of your channel. So you did that yesterday. That was part of your homework. So whether that's your name in Dallas, Texas Real Estate or Dallas, Texas Realtor, or it's your team name, you know, the Three Oaks Real Estate Group or whatever the case may be, this is where you're going to put your name. You can change this anytime, but I just recommend if you're going to change it, figure this out in the next week or two. Okay. You don't want to go 2, 3, 4 months down the road and then be like, I want to change my channel name. Just really focus on something. This is your handle. It's your unique handle. There can only be one living in Dallas, and I have that handle. So if you try to make a living in Dallas, it'll be living in Dallas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, so I've already claimed that handle. So if you want to try to find a unique handle, you can do that. It's not really a big deal. It doesn't really matter. But here's the thing about a channel too. If you come in and just try to name your channel living in Dallas, Texas, you know, if you're in Dallas like me, if you just do this, I can't stop you, and YouTube doesn't stop people from having the same channel names. But I just tell you, it's just not original anymore. You know, I mean, don't just copy that. Try to find something unique to you, and then do that. Now, all right. So the description is very important. This is where we're going to have our call to action. Whenever I showed you on the channel right here, this moving to Dallas, Texas, let's chat. And then it has a little ... more. This is how I'm going to position it in my description. I'm going to put that little call to action right there. And then I'm going to make sure I have a gap. I'm going to make sure I have, you know, I hit enter or return and I have this gap. So that will make this stand alone right there where I showed you. It'll make it stand alone on its own. And I just like a nice, clean call to action right there. And that's where you do that. And then you can have a nice little description. Okay. If you want, boom, boom, boom. And then you can have your contact info again. And then I just put Levi Lassick, Dallas, Texas real estate agent, brokered by eXp Realty. I just put that. All of this is searchable, by the way, too. I mean, all this adds metadata to your channel and helps it be searchable. All right, moving to Dallas, let's chat. This is where you're going to put your Calendly link inside of there, and you should be good to go. That's where you're going to put your booking link. All right, so that link that goes right there. And then you're going to put your email. Put a professional email, please. You know, I just don't recommend like a Gmail or a Yahoo or anything like that. This can be separate than, you know, if you set your YouTube channel up with a Gmail account, that's fine, but you can put, you know, your professional email inside of there. And you should be good to go. Settings, the only thing we need to do on settings is channel, is you need to find your keywords for your channel. This is your channel as a whole. And guess what? Guess what you can do? You can do that in the advisory studio, right? So I can go to AI tools and I can go to tag generator right here. And I can go Dallas, Texas, real estate. Boom, that simple. Guys, with AI now, I mean, this stuff, I used to I used to kind of like hand research all this stuff all the time. All right. So look at this. It'll give me all the tags I need. You can verify if you like all of them. Look, I could hit copy all, copy all, and I could come in here and I could hit paste. Boom. And it's going to paste all my tags in there. All right. I already have my tags, so I'm not going to do that, but that's how easy you can do. Where'd that go? Let me refresh. That's how easy you can do your channel tags. Oh, in settings, that's where I want to go. So you can do your channel tags, okay? Other than this other stuff, you don't need to worry about. Now, upload defaults. This is very important right here. You're going to upload a default description. That, by the way, is also in the community. You should have buyer video default description right here. So what you want to do is you just want to kind of highlight this and copy, boom, copy, and then paste this in a Google Doc or a Word doc or something like that where you can edit everything. Okay. I gave you 90% of it. You need to fill in your city, state, city, state. You need to put in, your city, state. You need to put in your phone number. You need to put in your email, your Zoom link. If you have a preferred mortgage partner, you can do that here. Only do that if they're paying for something. If they're a partner with you and they're paying for, they're contributing to your business. City, state, your link here. Again, this should all just be self-explanatory. And just like I said, copy and paste that into a Google Doc or Word doc so you can edit that. And whenever you edit everything that you want inside of there, you're going to paste it inside this upload defaults. Okay. Because what happens is every time you upload a video, it's going to upload this description automatically, and that'll save you a lot of time from writing a description every single time, okay? Or typing out the same stuff. 90% of our descriptions are the same every single time. All we need to do is we do need to write a little blog post, kind of like a property description or a listing description or something. We want a video description. So we do want something unique for that. And we do want our chapters. We want our chapters to be unique as well. All right. But everything else should be, and then maybe a couple of hashtags. Those might be unique as well. This is where we also put our consumer protection notice and our IBS. That way it's in every single video, and that's in there. And then, of course, when you upload a new video, it's going to automatically put this whole description on here. Again, all you need to do is a description, and guess what? A little mini description, and guess what? Go to Advisory Studio and do a description generator. All right. And so if I wanted to, I could simply go, let's see this. I could copy the title for my video if I wanted to. And I could just paste it. What is your video about? I could paste it in there. Category. Let me see. Education, I guess. Subcategory. Explainer. I don't think I don't think you need that, but then boom, I can generate a description. That easy. We used to have to really work on all this stuff manually back in the day, because when I started on YouTube, we didn't have AI. All right. So now you have AI. Now you pretty much do a lot of this stuff at the touch of a button. Boom. And look at this. It's also helping out with some chapters. I don't know if it's pulling those exact chapters, but right here, it gives me my first little, I can copy that. And whenever I upload the video, I can replace, I can replace that first part. All right. So you can do that. So that's on this. Always leave it to unlisted. And then you want tags for that individual video. And then guess what? When you want tags for that individual video, go to tag generator, enter your video title. Whoops. Uh, enter my video title, and I could generate tags just for that. Now, here's a cool thing. Save all to a project. You know, if I wanted to, let's say I was doing, I can save all to a project. I can go in here and I can actually create projects. This is pretty cool. So like if I want to do a video on Plano, Texas pros and cons, all I have to do is hit new project, create this folder. And you can see I've already done some research on this, but I've already generated some keywords. I've generated some tags. I've generated some titles and some scripts. And I'll show you how to do a lot of this tomorrow as well when we get into more content creation. But otherwise, I can create that project. And then whenever I do my tags, you know, something like that, Plano, Texas pros and cons, generate. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Just takes a little bit longer because I'm on Zoom. Boom. See, I can save all to a project. Plano, Texas pros and cons if I want to do that. Same thing with the title generator. If I want to do Plano, Texas pros and cons, I can generate some titles. And I could name my project that as well. So if I do that first, I can name my project. But I could look at this and I could say, okay, Plano, Texas, the truth about living here. 5 pros and cons of living in Plano, Texas. Is Plano, Texas a good place to live? Moving to Plano, watch this first. Okay. The surprising reality of Plano, Texas. I kind of like, actually, all those are pretty good. And again, I could click right here, save to a project. I could save it to my project, Plano, Texas pros and cons, and be good to go. All right, not sure what happened there. Let's see. See if I do a quick refresh. All right. Again, probably because I'm on Zoom. Usually when I'm on Zoom, sometimes my, websites and things like that take a little bit longer to load. All right, but this is really what I want you guys to focus on. Oh no, I lost my subscription. All right, let's see here. Did I not pay? There we go. All right, so a couple of things that I want you guys to work on tonight will be part of homework as well. So I want to see. All right, so going in here, this is going to be part of your homework tonight. All right, so we're going to go in here. You're going to link your channel, of course, in here, connect YouTube channel. You should have that all set up and ready to go. Got my YouTube channels in there. And this is one thing right here, competitive intelligence. This is something else I want you to kind of start doing some research on tonight as well with your channel. So once you have that established, even though you don't have anything on your channel, you're going to be going through, you're going to be filling out your custom settings. You're going to go back, you're going to do your default descriptions, those types of things. And then you're going to come in here and you're going to go to competitive intelligence. Now, based on your channel, it might pull up. I don't remember if I loaded this in or not, but it's pulling up a lot of Dallas channels. Okay, so you can see what I'm dealing with competition, by the way. And by the way, pretty much everybody in here has come through our program, so it's our own fault. All right, so I get it, but it's all right. So I can go in here and I can do some competitive intelligence. So I want you to take a look at, maybe I just pick the top subscribed channels. I could do that. I could look at if you know of specific channels that you think are doing well, because clearly I'm not going to pick, this channel that has 125 subscribers. Not a big deal. Now, here's what's interesting. This was the channel that was visible, or this guy has been doing YouTube for a long time. And he was the channel, whenever I started, he was my benchmark. He had, I think, 5,000 subscribers when I started. And so I was like, all right, well, this is the guy I want to catch. So this is why I also want to emphasize that, competition, air quotes, doesn't matter depending on how hard you're willing to work. So I noticed, VIP had 5,000 subscribers, and I thought, man, he had one video with like 200,000 views, and I thought, oh man, he's crushing it, and doing just great. And I know Richard, by the way, he's a super cool guy. So, but I just use that as my benchmark. Remember, I've had a very simple formula for success. Who's at the top? How did they get there? How can I model it? How can I adjust it to fit my personality? And can I beat them? That's my simple formula for success. So whenever I got onto YouTube, he was really the only channel. And I was like, okay, so that's my benchmark. And he had 5,000 subscribers. And I thought, can I catch this guy? Can I catch him and can I beat him? Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but anyways, I've got 58,000 subscribers now. Okay. I've got 58,000 and he's at 17,000. So he had a 5,000 subscriber head start on me. And now I'm what, 4 times the size of his channel now. So that just shows you consistency, also understanding and strategizing. And yeah, 100K is right there. Yeah. But look, like I said, I know Richard, the guy who runs that channel, and I met him. I met him one time, ran into him out in public. We were both in the same neighborhood filming. And I was like, Richard. And he was like, Levi, and I was like, hey, man. I was like, hey, I'm, a fan of the channel. He's like, oh man, he's like, you're crushing it, so it was very good conversation. And then I asked him, I was like, man, how much business? You must be crushing it from YouTube. You must be doing a lot of business. And he goes, you know what? He actually goes, I don't do a lot of business from YouTube. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I just make the videos. It kind of feeds more into my blogs. He goes, actually, I get more business from our website. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I was like, so you're not doing like 2, 3 deals a week from your channel? He's like, no. He's like, maybe one a month or something. I was like, holy, I mean, it just blew me away. So I felt like this is someone who's posting videos. He's been consistent. He's a great agent, good website, does a lot of business, but just does it other ways, but hasn't made YouTube a priority. And clearly I've blown way past him and generated more business. So it just shows you that there's levels to this game and how seriously you take it. Like I said, if you treat YouTube like a hobby, and that's the way I feel like, again, I'm not knocking Richard at all. Super great guy, but it felt like maybe he was treating this channel more as a hobby, just more like just producing videos to have a presence there. And you can show what our focus has done for us. So this is pretty cool. Competitive intelligence. You want to look at like who's the top 2 or 3 channels that you feel are your benchmarks. All right. So I could look at, I could look at like Preston, like I said, he was part of my team before he broke off on his own. I could pick his channel. Alex, good friends with Alex. Jimmy actually was also part of our team. He hasn't, he hasn't done anything. So this lady's pretty good. She came through our program. Tiffany, she's does really good videos. So I could look at her. So I could pick like those 3 videos or those 3 channels right there. And boom, look, I can run an intelligence scan. Bum, 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 bum. This should give you a really good idea and give you some insight on what's happening in your market. Who's your top 2 or 3 competitors, so to speak, and this should also kind of help you fill in some gaps or let you see where you can close some gaps. Maybe there's some gaps in your market on YouTube right now that you're not too sure about. So I can look at this and I can say, okay, I can look at Preston. He's averaging 981 views per video. Okay. And I can look at these other channels. Alex is doing about 4,000 views per video. Tiffany's doing about 4,000 views per video. Okay. Now I can dig in here and also look at what's their top performing videos. Okay. So these are some good ideas. Affordable luxury Dallas, Texas homes for cheap. I love that. Affordable luxury for cheap in top suburb. All right, cool. All right, so that video got 3,000 views, juxtaposed, like, wow, so just what I said, juxtaposed luxury with cheap and targeted an emerge. Okay, so it's like, okay, an emerging and less saturated suburb. So that's the thing. This should tell you, oh, Van Alstyne, that's a emerging, less saturated suburb. Interesting. So you see how this is giving you some insight now? McKinney, inside brand new home starting around 400K. Specific price point, 400K. High demand city creates high click through for budget conscious buyers. Okay, interesting. So it's giving me some insight on his top two videos. Title patterns, affordable luxury. He uses that a lot. Um, City for cheap. All right. So could you duplicate this title in your market? It seems to be a good winner right now. Why are these why are these cities homes so cheap right now? He likes to use the word cheap apparently. Inside brand new homes starting around boom. Okay. So those are title patterns. Interesting strengths. Excellent use of price drop and deal hooks to drive urgency. Specific suburb name dropping. Okay. High publishing volume creates dense library of neighborhood options. Okay. Lower average views per video compared to competitors. Okay. Titles can feel repetitive, potentially lead to viewer fatigue on the home feed. All right. Interesting. So now we see the weaknesses there. So we can take a look at that. Boom. Now we can look at Alex and say, okay, top video tour custom luxury new construction homes on acreage in Dallas. Taps into the Texas dream of sprawling acreage, which has massive appeal for relocators. All right, cool. Touring luxury for 350,000 less than Frisco. Okay. Extremely strong value proposition, saving 350,000 relative to most famous local market Frisco. Okay, yeah, I agree with this. Okay, that's interesting. So that could be something I could look at. Tour custom luxury new construction homes on acreage, title patterns inside cities most unique. All right. Touring luxury for less than, okay. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Gives me some strengths. Description SEO is heavily padded with repetitive keywords, which can feel less professional. Lower posting frequency. Okay. All right. And boom, boom, boom. And then I could look at Tiffany. So again, you can go through here and check these all out. You can go through a comparison, shared patterns, strategy differences, competitor strengths. So this is for just some recommendations. I like this too. Suggested keywords, suggested titles. So these are also giving you video topics you might want to create. Here, this could be your top 10 videos you create. Now, I've got a format in the workbook that I prefer you to follow. All right, so this could come after you follow that format. And if we go into event workbook. This is the format I prefer you to follow. And I probably blew past it. Well, looks like might have missed that page, but I'll tell you what it is. So the way that I think you should start your channel is you're going to do, you're going to pick your suburbs. All right. So one thing else I want you to do is not only with the competitive analysis, but you're going to research. You're going to do some keyword research on your areas. So take your top five suburbs. Think about your top five suburbs. Uh, for me, it'd be like Plano, McKinney, Frisco. So again, I can look at Plano, Texas, and it gets 49,500 searches per month. All right, cool. So write that down. Then I'm going to look at Frisco, Texas. 40,000. So about 9,000 less. Okay. And then McKinney, 22. All right. So in that order, based on search volume, it'd be Plano, Frisco, McKinney. So I'll just do my top three, for example. I want you to at least go five. So think about five suburbs you want to work. Go to the keyword research, find out the search volume. And for me, Plano, Texas was number one. So that's where I like to start. So what I want to also do is I also want to look at, well, it's real simple. I can go to projects. Like I said, I want to start with community tour. So the format that I like to go is community tour, then map video, then pros and cons, and then I'll do something else. I'll do something like pros and cons of Dallas, Texas. So there's two formats of videos. You got broad and you got niche. And then you have actually three. You got broad niche and micro niche. So think about this. If you do something on the greater city like Dallas, Texas, that is a broad-based video. It's got the much bigger reach, of course, a bigger population, and that's going to get you probably some more views, more subscribers. May not necessarily lead to a ton of leads. But whenever I drill down to Plano, Texas, a suburb, that's a niched video. Plano has like 250,000 population. All right. So that's a smaller audience. But look, if I got people looking on Plano, that's very, very specific. And so that's like more likely to generate lead flow. Maybe less views, but more likely to generate lead flow. If I go micro niched, I might do something specific on the neighborhoods of Plano, like Willow Bend or Glen Eagle or something like that. So if I go drill down to the neighborhoods of Plano, Texas, I'm really going micro niched. So what I want to do is I want to, again, create a project around my top videos. So if I want to do new project and I want to do Plano, Texas, community tour. All right. So, and I don't have anything saved in there yet. First of all, I just go to AI tools. Again, this makes it so easy, really, just to do a lot of this stuff. First of all, I might do a title generator. All right. So if I do Plano, Texas community tour, um, including real estate. So I can do the description kind of like something like that. I can hit generate titles. Wait for that to populate a little bit. Okay. And then I have some options. Living in Plano, Texas, the ultimate community tour. Plano, Texas real estate. What you need to know is Plano, Texas, the perfect place to live. 5 reasons we chose Plano, Texas, full tour. Now, if you don't live in Plano, you wouldn't say that, but 5 reasons you may choose Plano, Texas. All right, so that could be something, and then you say full tour. So this could just help jog your idea, your idea bank right there. The truth about Plano, Texas real estate neighborhoods. So if I look at this and I say, okay, I kind of like this one. That could be a good one. This could be a good one. So again, I could save these to that project. I could always go back later, save a couple of those. And again, maybe I like that one too. I'll just adjust it a little bit. And there I've got some title options. If I want to go ahead and generate my tags, I could wait until I do have a full title that I want to use. And then, of course, if I want to generate a script, I could do that through here. And then, of course, once I have all of that, I could do a description generator based on that. But if I want to generate a script around this, and I'll show you a little bit more tomorrow. I'll show you how to do script or no script, just depending on how you want to create videos. But again, I could do Plano, Texas community tour. Including mm, including real estate. All right, so I could do something around that. I could select my tone. Hmm. Conversational, I guess, writing style, boom, 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 narrative storytelling, video length, max it out at 15 minutes. If you have any articles you want to throw in there, it'll actually reference articles. That's pretty cool. So if if I wanted to find you know, uh, like this is really easy for uh, pros and cons because there's a lot of blogs around that. Actually, look at our blog right here is popping up on homepage of Google. So I do like that. So if I do that, let me see. So let's just see this. I could take this link right here, copy it. I like how that's using our blog. That's pretty cool. And oh, but that's pros and cons. All right, so let's do this. Plano, Texas, pros and cons. We'll just change up the video. Additional instructions, give me at least 5 pros and 5 cons. All right, so I want to be specific. So now I can do the additional instructions. I can do the research and reference links. I have that in there and boom, generate script. That's how easy that is. I mean, in this day and age with the AI, I mean, before I used to go through and read like 2 or 3 blogs and find all these different websites and kind of piece it all together. Now, you can also use this stuff as you don't have to use a script generator on AI. I would hope as a real estate professional that you know a lot of your cities and areas that you're working and therefore you could probably come up with your own pros and cons. Now, maybe you read a blog or two online and see what somebody else has to say. Maybe it jogs your memory a little bit or helps you kind of get up to a little bit of something else that you want to add in there. But otherwise, I mean, I can do this pretty easily right there, and then boom, there's my script. Now, the thing is with AI though, this is what you have to do. You have to do reverse research. All right. So before I used to do all manual research. Now with AI, I do reverse research. So now it gave me this whole script, and this could be my talking points, or I could read this script word for word, or I could use this as, again, something to help jog my memory and go from there. Now here, I could go through here and I can save the project if I want. And I'm gonna have to go through and I'm gonna have to read the script and actually see and determine, like, do I agree with the pros and cons it gave up? So if I'm not coming up with my own pros and cons based on my own experience and my own knowledge in my market and what clients have told me and the feedback and everything else, again, you don't have to live in a neighborhood to talk about pros and cons. You can get that feedback from clients, you can get it from neighbors, friends who live there, or you can just what you have experienced working there yourself. But if I generate a script through I need to do reverse research, which means I need to read the entire script and see what do I agree with, what's right. You also need to do gut checks. Like if it throws a stat or something in there and you're like, I don't know about that. Is that true? You're going to have to verify it, either from what you do know, or maybe go on, Google or do some research and say, hey, I need to verify this stat. So, uh, but I could look at this opening. Thinking about making a big move, maybe you've heard of the buzz about Plano, Texas, this thriving city just north of Dallas. Now, this is the thing about AI as well. Like, I wouldn't say the thriving city. That's not me. I wouldn't say that. So, again, I might look at this and I might remove that word. Okay, does that make sense? All right. So, but I do like what I read so far. Thinking about making a big move, and maybe you've heard about Plano, Texas. It's a city, I might say, it's a city just north of Dallas. It's a place that pops up on a lot of best places to live list, and for good reason. But like any other city, it's not a one size fits all paradise. You've got to weigh the good with the not so good to really know if it's the right fit for you. Okay. I mean, I think that's a pretty good hook. That's not bad, except like I said, I wouldn't say the thriving city just north of Dallas. So, all right, I just might remove that word, and that's a pretty good hook. And I don't need all this. This is the other thing about AI. Maybe I could have put instructions in here Don't give me scene changes and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Narrator. Now we're talking about a city that blends suburban charm with serious economic muscle. Again, like I would not say that. I would not say suburban charm and economic muscle. All right. So we're talking about a city that has some really cool suburb. I would say we're talking about a suburb that has some really cool neighborhoods and packs a pretty serious punch with when it comes to the economy. I mean, maybe I say something around that, but I might reword that. You got strong schools, booming job opportunities, and a vibrant community are just some of the things that draw people in. But what's the real story? What are the actual on the ground pros and cons of living in Plano in 20 and see it said 2025. That should be 2026. So again, maybe it's taking from my blog of 2025 and that's why it's doing that. Uh, Here at Living in Dallas, we've helped hundreds of families just like yours navigate the exciting and sometimes overwhelming journey of relocating to North Texas. We've seen it all from the dream moves to the unexpected challenges, and today we're cutting straight to the chase to give you the unvarnished truth. Again, I would never say unvarnished. All right. So again, this is just where you're going to have to go through here and take a look at that. All right. So let's dive in. We're going to break down everything from the booming job market, top tier schools, boom, boom, boom. All right. First up, let's talk about something that puts Plano on the map for so many incredible economy and job market. Okay. So that's the first pro. I agree with that. I know Plano is known for its job market, so that's a good. Okay. Now with all those jobs. Okay. So anyways, you're going to go through there. So man, it's already 11:55. Wow. Wow, man, that went fast. All right. So you see what you got to do now. Competitive intelligence. That's part of your homework tonight. If there's a question or two, guys, you can throw it in the chat or raise your hand real quick. I'll try to answer a couple of quick questions before we go. You can, if you want to raise your hand, I'll do a couple of quick questions or throw them in the chat. But this is what I want you to focus on tonight. I want you to run competitive intelligence on your channel, really get some good insights. Pick your top three channels in your market if there are three channels, and just kind of get a look at what's going on here. Take a look at the overviews, the comparison, the recommendations, and this should give you a really good idea what to do there. Uh, Go in and look at your top five suburbs, do the quick keyword research on your top five suburbs, and then you will see who has the most search volume. And then you also got to build your banner out as well. So let me go to James. James got his hand raised. What's up? You should be able to unmute.
Hey Levi,
Hey, what's up?
yeah, I need help. I've been lost completely all session. I lost the
Well,
I
that's not
lost the
good.
way I lost the way where I could see your screen. So I never saw what you were doing. So I said, wait a minute, I don't understand. He just stopped. I could see you, but I didn't see your screen. So I am completely lost on what happened today.
Well, is there a tab so I just shared my screen. Do you see a tab at the top that says Levi and then Levi's screen of Zoom?
No,
Look at the top of your Zoom.
I don't. I see recording and then I see check mark enhance encryption.
Look at the
I
top
see.
left. Is there two tabs? Does it say
There's
Levi
nothing.
Lassick and Levi's meeting?
Nothing on the left. No, nothing on the left.
Could everybody else see my screen? I mean, if that'd be okay, I'm seeing some heads shaking. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. There's two
I just
tabs
couldn't see your screen at all.
there's two tabs at the top of Zoom. Okay, good. Everybody else saw the screen, so uh I'm sorry. I don't know how to help you if you didn't see the screen. There's two tabs that'll focus on me only, and then there's my shared screen at the top.
Yeah,
So
it's
just make
even
sure you
bigger.
check that. It'll be on the recording if you want to get the recording. But otherwise, I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Leon, what's up? You got a question?
I do. Hey man, first off, thanks for your service. I'm laughing because you and I were bouncing through Iraq around the same time. You might even
Uh,
caught a ride on C-17 with me. Who knows?
who
But
knows? Maybe so.
here's a question. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of things, but I want to ask you before I forget in case it doesn't come up. When you load your videos, does it automatically go out to all your subscribers automatically, or do you turn that portion off And the reason I asked that question is because it's been said, people got many ways. It's been said that if you turn around and you bump everything out to all your subscribers, you might lose views and it might impact your channel. So I'm just wondering if you let all your subscribers get it or not.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, people that say that stuff, I think, are just, I don't know. I feel like they're trying to say something to make them sound smart. I mean, the reality is YouTube would not have that. I mean, what's the point of having subscribers if your videos don't get pushed out to them? So, and YouTube wouldn't have that. YouTube does not create anything on your channel to hurt your channel. So people talk about don't do this, tags don't matter, descriptions don't matter, just I mean, and I just like, well, YouTube gives you 5,000 characters to put in a description. So what does that tell you? To me, that tells you YouTube wants you to use a description. So yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff. You can check it, notify your subscribers when you release a new video. You can uncheck it, but yeah, mine's always been checked. So
Cool. Thanks. I
okay. Sorry, I accidentally muted you too fast. Appreciate it. Jeff, you can unmute.
Yeah. So far, a lot of this has been geared towards buyers. So how would you change it up for more of a seller approach, listing approach?
Different strategy.
Will we touch on that any during this next three
Um,
A's?
Maybe a little bit, but as of now, I mean the you have to be very, very skilled to be able to do that. So most people are going to attract a lot more clients through buyers, and these are not just your average buyers. These are completely different. These are decision makers. They usually make a decision within a weekend. They move fast. And also, this is a great way to secure listings. I mean, there's no better way. I mean, what does every listing want? They want to know that you've got buyers and you can sell their property. So if you can show them a channel too with buyers and because we're working with what 30 on average 30 active buyers, maybe even 40 right now at a time, and so that opens up a whole opportunity and you're going to generate leads way faster through this type of format that we're covering. If you go on the listing route, yeah, there's a whole opportunity that I'll touch a little bit on it tomorrow. But it's a whole different strategy. So,
Okay, great.
all right, thanks. Uh, Let me see. What time are we at? We are at, oh, we're 12:01. We're over. So I'll go one more with, Hala. Is it?
Yes, yes. I have two questions. I have YouTube channel with my KW business.
Mhm.
Can I use it and or I change the ownership? Do I lose the old video I have?
What do you mean it's with your KW business? Like
Okay.
KW owns it?
Yeah, no, yes, Keller William. Yeah, Keller William email. So I have YouTube with
Oh,
KW email, and I want to. I start like a couple videos, and it's very not very active. In the same time,
oh.
if I change the ownership to my personal, do I lose? And let's see if I change Keller William company, do I lose YouTube channel?
Is Chrissy on here? Chrissy, are you on here? I don't know if she's on here. I don't know if you switch over to a brand account, I don't know if you can switch your email. So that's if you started with a KW email, that's what we talked about yesterday. Um, if you can never leave KW because if you leave KW, they'll eliminate that email and you'll lose the channel. So I would just start a new channel. If it's not active and you've only done a couple of videos, I would assume they probably haven't been done the correct way anyways.
Yeah.
Nothing against you, but I would just start a new channel with your new with a email that you own, which
Okay. Yeah.
preferably just be a Gmail account.
Yeah, Christy, she answered. She said, "I can change it to a brand channel." The other question was, you use this program you have. Do we have a human people to contact for a help? Because I see a lot of comments. There's a lot of people lost. I am one of them. Not everything, but can we contact somebody like a human? Call them. Okay, we need this one, or can you go direct us?
Yeah,
Really,
all that should be in the community. So in the community, there's all the contact information, or you can post any questions in there after hours.
is there a phone call to call human being?
I don't know about a phone call. I mean, they should be able to handle anything on email or through the community.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll finish up right there. And, like I said, hey, guys, we got a lot of information. So I wanted to be upfront about that. If, and I can only have time to go through everything once. It's a really important, I think, that you get recordings. That's up to you. It's the best amount of money I think you'll ever spend. Look, I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on courses before. So I think even just for the recordings, you're getting 10 hours of content and you see all the information we're running through. I mean, I'm running you through very technical stuff. And even tomorrow, I'm going to get into how to make videos, structure videos, how to actually record those videos. I'm going to show you on my iPhone how to do it. So we're going to get even more in the weeds over the next 3 days on top of it. And that's what I want you to come here for and pay for. So you got to take really, really good notes, pay attention, make sure you can see the screen, or get the recordings. That's really the option. We only have time to run through it once. There's plenty of support in the community that everyone's there to help you out, and we want to help make you successful on here. But there is a lot of information, and I get that. I understand. It's a lot. Trust me. I spent months and months, and I'm still refining this process over the next couple of years. So I'm trying to cram as much information in here as possible to make this worth the $47 you paid for it on top of that. I highly recommend getting the recordings. I mean, it's a great option. Get into the channel or the advisory studio on there, work through that, work through your homework tonight, build your banner. We're trying to give you everything as cost effectively as possible so that you can be successful. But anytime you start a new piece of business, there's always going to be a little bit of investment in there. So work on that. And then if you have any further questions after hours, there's the teams in the community. And yes, they are real people. We've got several of them. They've probably been hitting you up in the chat, trying to answer questions as well. And then tomorrow I'll do what I can to open it up for more questions during that time. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Sorry, I went over a little bit, and we'll be back here same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. CST. See you then.